were after the modifieds. They were our feature event of the night.
Yeah, number 5, we had Dan Dybel, just recently
Good run
new
for
to
the
that class.
74, yep.
Darren Koffel at number 4. Number 3, Jerry Casey.
Which was actually Brian Smith driving that car.
There we go.
Started on the front row, and in Victory Lane, in the top 3 cars. In Victory Lane, he said, "Man," he goes, "I was leading. He goes, I didn't know how much of a lead I had." He goes, "I'm looking up," and he goes, "I come out at 2. I look up the scoreboard and I see that we're at 20 laps." He goes, "I had 20 laps, and I could feel and hear the rubber going down." He said, "At that point, it was like, man, these guys are going to catch me." He's just like, these guys are. He knew they were coming from the back.
Yeah.
But he said, at that point, he goes, "I just knew when that rubber started going down, it was going to change things." And he drove, a near flawless race, running up on the top and being smooth and doing what he had to do, doing what he had to do to stay up for that and win. Mm-hmm. Just at the end, it didn't work out because the 2 guys that got by him were the number 4E of Trent Elliott and the 111 of Joey Tanner.
It was good to see the woes that Trent had are gone. That whole power steering issue was just...
He left a lot of power steering fluid on the track all the way down the front stretch.
Yeah.
That was the second time that hose has... And they said, brand new hose, want to know what's going on. Glad to see they got that issue fixed.
Yeah.
When number 10 for the 111, the driver of the 111. Now, the 111's won, I think, 7 races this year.
And how many races does that chassis have on it?
About 9.
Yeah.
Not a lot. It is a very, very good race car. He has won 3 times down at Cottage Grove this year in a 35B owned by Jared Bemitz. And he's won...
Coos Bay.
What did I just say?
Cottage Grove.
I meant Coos Bay. He's won 3 times down there. He did win at Cottage Grove. And he's won...
Up at Sunset, wasn't it?
4 at Willamette.
Yeah.
I think it's his 4th or 5th win at Willamette. It could be, but man... This kid, I call him a kid. He's 26 years old. I call him a kid, but young man he's got it figured out. He's got that chassis figured out. His shock game is tight. He's under pressure through traffic in the cockpit. Nothing phases him. Nothing has phased this kid so far. I mean, he has been the guy in this division in this region. Let me ask you a question. Can anybody beat him the rest of the year at Willamette Speedway? From what you've seen in the last few weeks, does anybody have what it takes to beat that 111 car right now?
Well, Mr. Vitale could. He could change it up.
Okay, there's a possibility. You're right. Anybody could on any given night.
You got Tomas, who's really dialed in his program right now, and there's going to be a win on that. And Trent getting his woes down and getting back into his rhythm. Yeah. There's still some cars there that race him pretty good. I really thought Dan Dybel was going to be a lot faster than he is this year. I don't know what's going on with that program, but I just know I expected to see more speed out of it, I guess. He seems like he's having fun.
He's fast.
Yeah.
He's fast. It's just putting the whole thing together, with a new car. And they're getting there. They've pretty much got everything figured out. And that 74 car is very competitive.
Well, you see, it's usually pretty clean. There's only been a couple incidences that car's even been mixed up in on the track this year. So it's like you said, putting it all together to get it to gel and jive to the win is hard to do when somebody is pretty much as dialed in as Joey is. But
so not only, and this is why I'm saying this, guys. This is why, and I'm not saying that Joey's going to sweep the year.
Probably not.
The chances are it's not going to happen. But why I say this is what you just said. Yes, Joey's car is dialed. There's a lot of guys out there that are really fast. Joey's car is dialed. He understands that race car. He knows what it's doing. But the other half of that, guys, the other half of that is Joey is dialed in his mind. He is there. That he's got that mentality. He knows. He is the. If he was in the NFL, he would be a gunslinger quarterback. He'd be Brett Favre right now. He would be Tom Brady, or he'd be in that elite category of player. His mindset I'll tell you right now, is different than everybody else. The only other driver I can say that I've seen improve up to the next level this year by having their mindset changed is the 38 of Hunziker.
And you know who got that car rolling?
I absolutely do. Yes, the 111 at Tanner's been helping him a lot. But when a guy has that kind of confidence, that's hard to beat. Mentally, you know what I'm saying. You understand that.
No, I get it.
That's why when I say, can anybody beat Joey? Not only do you have to be faster than him and be on your A game with your setup, but you've got to be better than him mentally. And right now, there's nobody out there like that.
Well, other than Tomas is really getting more. He was way more different in the pits, and he was way more confident than I've seen him all season this last weekend.
No argument to that. You're absolutely right. And the last 4 or 5 weeks, he's been he's really come out of his shell. He's the nicest guy in the pit area. Mm-hmm. Him and his wife Jennifer, nicest people you're going to find in the pits. His confidence has grown so much. His mentality behind the wheel has changed so much. He's now in that group. You have to say, okay, one of these guys are going to win tonight, and he's in that discussion. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt. Dom, you're thinking about something really hard.
No, I'm actually just processing what you're saying.
Do you?
Well, I completely agree. Everybody,
okay.
Most of this is a mindset. Obviously equipment plays a factor in it, but you have to be able to put your mind to make your hands move, to make your feet move. And obviously you see people that have been, let's say, clumsier in years before, and now they're smooth.
Right.
They obviously figure it out in their head, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's just like Dakota. You could watch Dakota. He started having woes on the track with the cars. His driving style's changed. I don't know how many other people have noticed it, but he's not as smooth in the car as he has been. He's a little more rattled.
He's been aggressive. He's been attacking, where before I think he was a little more consistent from
he
the
let
start.
The race. Yeah, he would let the race come to him.
Right.
Now he's trying to force the race.
Mm-hmm. Now he's fast.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm excited for?
I just think that when a guy has his program
dialed,
I mean that program is so clean, so tight, on point, from top to bottom. Joey Tanner is in that late model division is the guy to beat right now at anywhere he unloads at any track in the Pacific Northwest. What I want to see, and this is going to be interesting, will be the Budweiser Nationals when he unloads that 111 down there to run against not just, we've got some elite Oregon drivers going down, and we're trying to confirm some more to take Oregon's best to go down and match up with California's best on their track, which we know Joey was really fast last year. That was the biggest heartbreaker I think I've seen since I've been calling that race.
Still don't believe it.
He's looking for a little redemption. And with the car he has now, I know it's not his home track. It's going to be a fun thing to watch.
Well, good. Maybe Rob Maya can come back for a couple tuner races and help him get a little more style.
I don't know if we're going to see that.
I don't know if we're going to see it
I
either.
wish we would. We'd love to see all the late models come out to Willamette. I'd love to see some of the California guys come up. Unfortunately, we're just the late model situation in the Western United States is not good. When you look at, you draw a line down the middle of the United States, and you go over to the right, and you come out to the left, they're fewer and far between to the left. Their racetracks are farther apart. You don't have the corporate sponsorship. You don't have the series, the tours. You just don't have it. It's not on the big time level. But there's guys out here that can change that. There's guys out here that can run on that national level.
There's guys out from back here that are running out on that national level. Justin Duty.
Right. But he had to go out there to do it.
Yeah.
I wish he could bring some of that back here with him. I wish we could get something out here to change that whole scene, because the late model division is a great division. Fans love them. They typically draw a lot of fans, but they're getting so few. Number one is the cost. We kind of talked about this earlier, but cost of a late model is it's been completely outrageous. But then you start limiting things, and I see both sides. Both sides. It's a shame. I will tell you, a future star in this late model game, and we may see him for the next couple of years before they take him back east, is going to be McLean Bedoin. This kid is 12 years old, guys, and he's running in the top 5 his first couple of races in a late model car against quality fields. 12 years old in a super late model.
He seems to be doing great to me.
When they said they were moving him up, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I said, what? What? Are you serious? And then the thing was, talking with some of the drivers, there wasn't one super late model driver out there we talked to that was against him coming up. Joey Tanner backed him up 100%. Said, just watch him. He's going to be fine. Don't worry about him. He can drive. And I'm looking at Joey going, okay, you've got all this money in this car. You're talking about bringing a 12-year-old kid up that doesn't have the experience. Talent is one thing. Experience is another. And I'm thinking, man, if this kid goes out, and I'm thinking about him. I'm not thinking about, but if this kid goes out and takes out somebody with a $65,000 car, $70,000 car, and wrecks them and ruins that car, you still going to back him up and say it's going to be fine?
That's part of racing, but
it is.
But when I watched him race the first night in super late models, anytime there was something questionable I seen him get into, he just backed out of it. He was very careful, concise, didn't do anything.
And he finished 5th.
Right.
And he changed everybody's mind.
Yeah, he just remained calm, did everything the way it's supposed to. Didn't push
the kid
envelope.
Didn't panic.
He stayed cool.
He changed everybody's mind with that one single race.
Mm-hmm. He
that
put
kid,
every naysayer's thoughts to bed.
No doubt. There's no doubt about that. He's going to be a star.
Yep.
I want everybody that's listening out, in the Midwest, in the East Coast, remember the name McLean Bedoin. This kid's got a future. He's only 12 years old. He's got a future. He's coming. Okay? I just wish we could have guys like Joey Tanner and guys like Bryson James and Colin Weinbarger and, these young guys that are just now hitting their prime. I just wish there was something big here or they had an opportunity back there. Because I'll tell you right now, there isn't one of those guys we talk about on a weekly basis on this show. Campos, Bryson James, Gray Ferrando, McLean, Joey Tanner, Casey Vitale. Casey's been back there. He's around with those guys. He knows how the game's played. I mean, we're talking about the talent in California, Dotson, Laney, these young guys that are coming up. There is one of those guys that we talk about that couldn't go back there and be just as fast as anybody else with a corporate ride. The talent is here. We just happen to be in the most untapped, unsupported market in all of dirt track racing. And it sucks. It totally sucks to watch that because these guys are that good, and we know it.
Yeah.
We watch what goes on back east. We see what goes on here with our own eyes. We know how good those guys are. They can all be successful. Laney proved that at Boone last year in a top 15 finish against the best modified racing that the world has to offer.
Yeah, but they're successful back here, and they're having fun, and they're surrounded by the people they care about. So really, they're winning. I mean, so what? There isn't huge
winning on
purses.
A different level.
Yeah, there isn't huge purses and prize money for them to take home all the time, but they're having fun. They're living life. They're enjoying it. So to the Midwest and East, if the big money wants to stay out there, cool, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. If I'm out here doing what I like in the area I want to be at and enjoying it, that's really what matters.
Okay, now let's flip that coin. Now let's just say you've spent $70,000 on a dirt late model to go racing. And number one, you don't have a series that pays any kind of money. You don't have corporate sponsorship supporting these racetracks. You don't have 30 and 40 car fields qualifying to get into a 24 car show to race for 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand, $100,000 races. Now you've got a $70,000 car and you're racing for $1,000. Okay? There's the other side of that coin. Now tell me you don't want that out here.
Not saying I don't want that
I know you're not saying that, but there's that other side.
Yeah.
What does it take to get that out here Nebraska over, what's it take? And we've got that one big series down in Arizona.